Today for dessert, I made Oreo lasagna. My mom always makes this and it is always the first dessert to go. This is a no-bake dessert too, which is awesome. So first you're gonna take 2 rows of Oreos, and I did the family pack of Smash Oreos. Those up as good as you can and then place them in a 9x13 pan. Melt 1 stick of butter and then pour all over, and then make sure you stir that up really good and then smash it down as good as you can again. Let that sit in the fridge for the next steps. Take a block of cream cheese, and if it isn't softened, make sure you soften it a bit in the microwave. Mix this up really well and then add 1 cup of powdered sugar. Mix this up again and then add 1 cup of Cool Whip. Mix until everything is nice and smooth and then set that aside. Now take a large separate bowl and you are going to make your pudding. Dump 3 1/4 cups of milk into your bowl and then add the 2 packets of chocolate pudding to this. Mix this really well and then set aside for a minute and take another row of Oreos and then crunch those up really well. Dump this into your pudding mixture and then mix again. Now set this aside and get your 9x13 pan back out with the crust on the bottom, and then add your layers. So first is that cream cheese layer. Spread that out as evenly as you can, and then you take your pudding layer, spread this out as evenly as you can, and then you're going to take the rest of that whipped cream and then spread it on top, and then crunch up your last row of Oreos and then sprinkle those on top. I like to sit mine in the fridge for a few hours before I serve because it stays together a little bit better. We are obsessed with this one. Tonight's dessert is strawberry shortcake poke cake. This one is so easy, anybody can make it. I cannot wait for the kids to get home and try it. I know they're gonna love it because they are huge strawberry fans. First thing you're gonna do is bake your cake. I'm just taking a box of white cake mix and making it as the box directions say. So just oil, water, and eggs. Mix that up well and then spread it in a well-greased 9x13 pan. Bake that for around 36 minutes at 350. Once that cake comes out of the oven, let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes to cool. Now grab something to poke your holes with. I know usually people use a wooden spoon, but I do not have one small enough like this. Now I'm just taking some strawberry pie filling and then I'm going to spread it all over. Trying to get it in the holes as much as you can, but it will seep down eventually. I am using 2 full cans of this strawberry pie filling. Next you're going to take some Cool Whip and then spread it on the top. Make sure your Cool Whip is thawed because mine was not at first, and that makes it so hard to spread. So I used 1.5 tubs of the Cool Whip. Now top with as many fresh cut strawberries as you would like. This dessert was so delicious and really easy to make. I definitely recommend. Tonight's dessert is an oatmeal cream pie cheesecake. This just might be my favorite dessert all week. It was also the easiest one to make. My family could not get enough of it. This is all you're gonna need right here. First, take a 9x13 pan, or you could even go a little bit smaller. Mine is a touch smaller. First, you're gonna take a big pack of the oatmeal pie cookies and then put them in the bottom of your dish. Make sure everything is covered when doing it too, so break up your cookies as much as needed. And then I broke mine in half for the edges as well. You are gonna need every cookie in that box too, so don't eat any. Then you're gonna take a tub of this no-bake cheesecake that is already made up. Add that to a large bowl with 1 container of Cool Whip. Just stir this up really well. Then you're going to add that mixture onto your oatmeal pie cookies. All of it will fit perfectly, and you should have about 1 cookie left because my son came and ate that cookie that I had saved, but I had a little crumbs left of a different one, so I'm just topping it with that. So it should have a little bit more crumbs on the top. Let that sit in the fridge for a couple hours before serving. I highly recommend this easy dessert. I hope you all love it as much as we did. Today for dessert, I made lemon brownies. These are so incredibly easy to make and one of my favorite desserts of all time. And I know someone's gonna come after me about the name brownies, but they have the same consistency of a brownie. They are so good. There's only a few ingredients in this one too. First, add a box of lemon cake mix to a large bowl. Then add 1/3 cup of oil and then 2 eggs. You are not going to add any water, so do not follow those box instructions. Stir this up for a while, and this does take a bit. You'll have like this dough consistency right here. Then take an 8x8 dish and then line it with some parchment paper because that is so much easier. Then take that cake mix and add it to it. Spread it out as evenly as you can. I ended up using my hands at the end just to make sure it was nice and even. Bake this at 350 for 20 minutes and then let it cool completely. Now you're going to make that lemon icing. Take 3 tablespoons of softened cream cheese and 1 cup of powdered sugar. Mix that really well and then add 1 juice of a lemon. Mix again and it'll look like this. Once your lemon brownies have cooled all the way down, you're going to add your icing to them. This is one of the most delicious desserts. I hope you give it a try. Let's make some chocolate chip cookie bars for when the kids get home from school. These are way easier than traditional chocolate chip cookies, and my kids do prefer these. First, just take a box of yellow cake mix and then throw that into a large bowl. Then to that same bowl, you're going to add a 1/3 cup of oil. Take 2 eggs and then crack them into a separate small bowl, and then make sure you whisk those up separately. Add that to your large bowl with your cake mix in it. Now stir this up really well, and it'll look like this. Then I added a whole bag of chocolate chips. Stir this up again until those chocolate chips are nice and incorporated. This does take a bit because that dough is very sticky. Then I took a 9x13 pan and then lined it with some parchment paper. That makes life a little bit easier. And then you're going to add that dough into your pan. Spread it everywhere as evenly as possible and flatten down. I ended up using my hands at the end just to make sure everything was nice and even. And then I baked mine at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. When that comes out, let that cool for at least 10 minutes or so. And then you are good to cut them into little squares. These are so amazing. I highly recommend. Let's make some s'mores cookie bars. These are so incredible, probably one of my favorite desserts, and they are so easy to make too. There is not a ton of ingredients involved, which is a plus. This right here is everything you're gonna need. So first, take a cookie sheet. I did one of the small cookie sheets. Line that with some parchment paper and then add some of that cookie dough down. Make sure to not use all that tub of cookie dough either because you're gonna need some for the top. Save a cup or so and then take some of the Hershey's chocolate bar and then break that up and then add it to that layer. And then crunch up some graham crackers and spread them on. This is about what I used right here. Then take some marshmallow cream, and if you heat that up in the microwave, it is a little bit easier to spread. This is just the trickiest part, but you can do it. And then you're gonna take the rest of that cookie dough and flatten this out as thin as possible, and then just put it on top, just like this. And it's okay if some of the marshmallow cream is like peeping through, it still tastes delicious. Bake this at 350 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes. Take it out and let it cool completely. It'll bubble up some like that, but then once it cools, it'll go all the way down. And then you're going to take that parchment paper out and then you're going to cut it into bars just like this. It is incredible. I hope you guys give this one a try. I made a delicious and easy grape salad for dessert tonight. It's only 4 ingredients and the kids are obsessed. This is all your ingredients right here. First, take a large bowl and then add a block of softened cream cheese and a container of this marshmallow cream. Mix this up well and then add a pound of each of red grapes and green grapes. Then I added mine to a serving dish and then you're gonna get whatever kind of nuts you want. We prefer pecans on this. Chop those up really well and then add them to the top of your grapes. This dessert is delicious and so easy to make. I hope you guys give this one a try. Let me know if you do. Today for dessert, I made a delicious Reese's poke cake. This is incredibly easy to make and so good. First, you're going to make your cake just as the box directions say. I'm using chocolate cake, but honestly, you could use whatever kind of cake you want. Bake that, and then you're going to let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes to cool. And then you're going to poke all your holes in it. Just poke as many as you want. Now, in a separate bowl, you're going to make your peanut butter glaze. So it is 1 cup of peanut butter, 1 can of the sweetened condensed milk, and then a half of a cup of milk. Stir this up really well until it is nice and smooth, and you're going to pour this all over your holes so it goes right in. I like this way better than doing the pudding kind of mixture on this because it actually goes into the holes. So now you're going to melt this chocolate frosting and then spread that all over as well. And then in another separate bowl, you're going to add a tub of whipped cream and then a half of a cup of peanut butter. Stir this up really well, and you're going to put this on top of that. Now you're just going to kind of swirl this all around and then top it with some Reese's. And you can do whatever kind of Reese's you want. I did the mini ones, but you can do the bigger ones and chop them all up. You're going to refrigerate this at least 3 hours, and then you are ready to enjoy. This cake was absolutely amazing. I hope you guys give it a try. Today for dessert, I made this amazing lemon blueberry poke cake. It's perfect for spring and it is so easy to make and it tastes amazing. First, you're going to take a box of lemon cake mix and just make that as the box directions say. And you could always change up the cake mix here. If you don't want any kind of lemon flavors in there, you could just do yellow cake mix. So I'm just adding my water, oil, and eggs, and then I'm going to bake that as the box directions say too. And then you're going to let that cool for 15 to 20 minutes. And now on to the next layer. I am taking 2 cans of this blueberry pie filling, and then I am going to mix it up just to make it a little thinner so it goes through those holes really well. And then I also added 1/4 of a cup of water. So just mix this up really well until it's about this consistency. And now we're going to go ahead and make that top layer. I'm taking 12 ounces of Cool Whip, and then I'm going to fold in about 1/2 of a cup of this lemon frosting. So just fold it kind of slowly because you don't want to overdo it on this one. So it's going to look like this. After that cake has cooled down a little bit, you're going to poke your holes all into it, just like this. And I know mine sunk a little. It's because I banged it on the oven whenever I took it out, and then it sank a little bit. It's okay. It still tasted delicious. Now you're going to take that blueberry pie filling and then pour it all over, and then just keep spreading to ensure that it goes in all those holes. Next, you're going to add that whipped cream mixture and then spread it all over. Then you're going to top it with some fresh strawberries, just like this, and then refrigerate for at least 3 hours. Tonight's dessert is a no-bake Swiss roll cake. This one is so easy to make and it is delicious. It's probably one of my favorite no-bake cakes. First, you're gonna need a ton of the Swiss rolls. You're gonna slice these into 4. You could even do thinner if you'd like. Just it goes on the bottom of your pan, so that is up to you. And then take a couple tablespoons of Cool Whip and then spread them in a 9x13 pan just like this, and then put all your Swiss cakes in just like that. Then you're gonna make that pudding mixture. Do 4 cups of cold milk with 2 packages of the chocolate pudding, and you can change up the puddings here too. Whisk that really good and then set aside to let it set some. Now in another large separate bowl, you're going to take a tub of this marshmallow cream and add it to it. And then you're going to take a tub of the Cool Whip, do the whole 8 ounces, and then mix this as good as you can. Just kind of fold it together like that. Now you're going to add that pudding mixture to the top of your Swiss rolls. Then add your marshmallow cream, whipped cream mixture to the top, and then spread all around. Now altogether, you're going to need 12 ounces of Cool Whip. Some of that went into your marshmallow cream, and then you're going to use the rest for the top of your cake. Slice up some more Swiss rolls and then put them on top just to make it pretty. Refrigerate for a couple hours before serving. Today, me and Georgia made the absolute best Rice Krispie treats ever. These are Oreo Rice Krispie treats. I highly recommend, and they're of course really easy to make. First, to a large bowl, we're putting 7 cups of the rice cereal in there, and then you're gonna smash a package of Oreos as good as you can, just like Georgia. Once you're done with that, you're gonna dump it into the bowl with the rice cereal and then mix that up really well. Georgia was definitely snacking on these Oreos whenever we were doing this. And now to another large bowl, you're gonna add a stick and a half of butter, and you can use salted butter. I just didn't have any. I'm just adding some salt to that. Now you're gonna add about 20 ounces of mini marshmallows to that, and then just toss them up till everything is coated, and then microwave these until melted. So first I did 1 minute, and then I stirred them up really well, and then I'm doing it in like 30-second intervals. It does not take long. And Georgia wanted to do a little show for you. Now just stir until that marshmallow mixture is nice and smooth, just like this. And I like to dump my marshmallow mixture onto the other mixture. I think it's a little easier than doing it the other way around. Also, I always use parchment paper when I'm doing Rice Krispie treats because it's a lot easier to get them off. So just stir that mixture all together. Pour that into your 9x13 pan just like this, and then smash it down as good as you can. And to the top of mine, I'm adding some melted chocolate and then adding the rest of those Oreos on top of there that are all crunched up just like this. You don't have to do that step, but I think it tastes the best. Now you're gonna refrigerate these for an hour or so until everything is hardened and it is delicious. Let me know if you guys give these a try.